Hello, good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome to another edition of LaToken VCTV, where we get to address major issues, trends, things that are happening around you that affect all of us. Today, we'll be having another interesting topic. We'll be talking about hybrid work and investment in hybrid workspace. And today we have a guest who will introduce himself much later on. And I welcome you all our audience from all over the world to join us, pay attention, and participate. Fortunately for you, you can contribute, you can make suggestions, make posts. We'll view them in real time and answer some of the questions you might have. And then we're looking forward to interesting and engaging time with you all. And also, this is another opportunity for startups and entrepreneurs out there to join the LaToken VCTV team to pitch their projects on our platform. You see, if you feel your project is exciting enough and worthy of the kind of attention and fundraising it needs, you can just reach out to me or any member of the LaToken team, and we'll arrange a pitching session for you. So today we're going to be talking about investments in the hybrid space. I mean, the hybrid work is a traditional mix of office-based work and remote working. And the concept mainly works for jobs and tasks that involve large amounts of like screen time. Now, the advancement in digitization and the shift in work to a more work-based economy in many countries has made the option for remote work more realistic for employers and employees. Specifically, a Gartner survey of company leaders revealed that 82% of them plan to let workers work remotely some of the time, and 47% of them are ready to let workers work full time going forward. Now, just before I go into the questions, I'd like our panelists today, Gary, please give us a brief about yourself, your experience with remote work, hybrid work, and let the audience get to know who you are in this regard.
Great, Nathaniel. Thanks for bringing me on board today. My name is Gary Fowler, and I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor and writer.
Oh, great.
I'm located in Silicon Valley, although right now I am in Palm Beach, Florida. So I love artificial intelligence and quantum computing. I've done 17 companies,
Super.
and two of those have been become unicorns. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for 1.35 billion about 2 years ago. And also,
Nice.
I am the co-founder of Eva.ai, one of the top workforce management companies, AI workforce management companies in the world today. I founded that company with the billionaire Dr. David Yang from Russia, located now in Silicon Valley. So we love artificial intelligence. I mean, here we are with the world dynamically shifted in the last year to a lot of remote work. So love it. As I said, AI is the new electricity. So today I am the co-founder, CEO, and president of GSD Get Shit Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in Silicon Valley. And our job is to help companies go global, help companies become unicorns, and we look at ourselves as unicorn breeders.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that. I mean, Gary, you are an investor. I mean, 17 companies, that's huge. I'm sure they are relatively successful. Now, do investors look kindly on the future of hybrid work as investment worthy based on what has happened in the past 1 year? Is it investment worthy and why? Some people genuinely believe that there will be a return to traditional work systems. But you're an investor. What are the things that you see? What are the things that make you convinced that hybrid work is the future and investment worthy?
Well, I mean, look at 1 year ago, a little over a year ago, actually, McKinsey came out with a report that 92% of the companies within the next 10 years would digitally transform. Well, they didn't realize what was going to happen is they had to do it in a couple of months or they were going to die. So now the situation is worldwide. We've gotten used to, I don't know about you, but I had to commute 4 hours back and forth to work every day. 2 hours
Yep,
in the
we
morning,
all did. We all
two
did.
hours in the evening, and I would go into my office. I would go in. I'd had to leave in Silicon Valley at 5:30 or 6 to beat the traffic in. I had to be in my office at 8. I had to leave my office either early or later, which generally is what I did. I would leave at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So coming back, depending on the traffic, it could take me, up to 2 hours. So imagine how much of your time, 4 hours a day, and if you're doing it 5 days a week, that's 20 hours wasted time. Look how inefficient we were, and look at how many more expenses we had. You know,
Exactly.
I was just calculating my travel expenses compared to last year and the year before, and especially in 2019, my travel expenses were, upwards of about $100,000. So, I spent a lot of money, and at the same time, here you are, right in Nigeria. Here I am in
Exactly. Yeah.
Palm Beach, Florida, right now, talking to Carol, who's in Singapore. So I mean, we can basically transfer anywhere. And I remember I was one of the early Zoom users. The One of the VCs that invested in Zoom, invested in Eric and Zoom, said, "Hey, you got to try this out. This really cool technology." I remember sending the links out to all my friends, and they said, "Why would I want to do Zoom? Why would I use Skype?" And I said, "This stuff is really cool." Or WhatsApp. I said, "This stuff's really cool, really, really cool." And here we are, right? And so StreamYard, Zoom, all these incredible technologies to be able to work in this new way. This was going to happen anyhow because it is highly efficient. Look at India. It's the first time in 30 years we've been able to see the Himalayan mountains because of traffic reduction in traffic.
That's
Our
right.
planet's got a chance time to heal. So, in terms of the future, this model, this hybrid work model, absolutely will be in the future. In fact, we're still at the height. The cases of COVID are still high, and this new brand of COVID coming out that's highly contagious is around. I mean, it's like a Russian roulette. Do you really want to go out? I don't know about you, but I really think about it. I was watching the other day. I went out, and I mean, this is how crazy life is, right? I went in the bank and I had a mask on, and I thought if I did this a year ago, they'd throw me in jail.
That's right. That's
You know,
true.
I walk in with a black mask on, and now you get in
Oh
trouble,
yes.
you're fined for not having it. You can't go in without a mask. How the world has changed. And
Exactly.
so
Do you feel it's this industry as an investor? Do you think that it's investment worthy? And what space do you think this investment is? It in software, technology, healthcare, transportation? Obviously, it's going to suffer. Um, Transportation will see reduction in patronage. Real estate will suffer a bit. So, what do you think?
I mean, there's lots of impacts, right? So one is, in terms of our health, our mental health. The situation is we need to connect. So having venues just like VCTV where people can tune in to feel part of something is really important. So in terms of our well-being, I mean, this is the first time. I mean, doctors didn't want to do telemedicine before in the U.S. I mean, there's telemedicine happening everywhere. Well, then there's a democratization opportunity. It doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in Nigeria, whether you're in the UK, whether you're in Russia, it doesn't matter because intellectual capacity is evenly spread and opportunities aren't. And so now it's really leveled the playing field. So I love that, right? Everybody can play in the
That's
game,
right.
really leveled the playing field. So it's the best move forward. Um, and so in terms of health, absolutely. I mean, there's mental health issues. You got to keep yourself active. You got to think differently, think positive. There's some of that that's critically important. And it's taken us, the other thing is, Nathaniel, we hadn't had really a time to be able to look at ourselves, right? We were so busy doing things that we didn't have a chance to ride bikes. Bike sales are up, what, 80%? You can't, I
Oh,
bought
really?
it's huge. I mean, you can't even get a bike Right now, it's extremely difficult to buy a bike in the U.S. And it's not one of the places in the world. It's many of the places in the world have the same thing because bikes are in huge demand. Why? Because it's a simple pleasure. Families get time to spend together. My dog is sleeping right here alongside of me. I would never had my dog sleeping alongside of me when I was having a meeting before. But my basset hound is right here. She likes to stay with me.
Oh,
So
awesome.
so we got we have simple pleasures, and board games came back, and people had a chance to spend more time with their family and their spouse. I mean, there's no choice. So you got to know one another in an entirely different way, which wasn't possible before. So what I'm saying is it really gave us a 360-degree view, a more integrated, pure view of our life. Of course, it's going to affect construction because people aren't going in offices. Who's going to rent the buildings? Right? There's issues around who's going to rent. The other thing is that places like Silicon Valley, which is where my office and house are, it's a little different now because people are moving now down to Miami. And why? Because taxes are a lot cheaper. It's warm and nice. And houses are a lot cheaper. They're probably a third of the cost.
Wow.
So, people are moving around. The individual income taxes in California are 12% higher than they are in Florida. 12%, right? On the high level. So you start adding that up, it starts to be not as interesting. Then you take house prices. The average in Palo Alto for a house is probably $2.5 million, right? In Silicon Valley. If you look at that same house here, it's about $700,000, maybe less. So
Wow.
the price of housing is a lot less. So anyhow, we've changed a lot. We can work in a very different kind of way. We can work remotely where we want. People are moving around. Work can be done on a global basis a lot differently in a decentralized way compared to before. So yeah, it's exciting. In terms of investment, my business at Eva.ai is one of the top AI HR tech companies dealing with remote employees. At the beginning of the pandemic, our business was up 38 times. This year, we'll have, our business will grow 10 times. 10 times. It's that big right now. So, because people need to figure out if I have an office in Lagos and I have teams all over the world, how do I know how my teams are feeling? Well, traditionally before, what would happen is you would do once a year, would do a review, right? You would come in,
Exactly.
do a review. But the thing is, that's not how life works, right? It constantly changes. By the time that year goes by, everything could change. A person could leave, and a high value employee you wouldn't want leaving the company. So, what we said is, I went down and put together an artificial intelligence to be able to understand and check the pulse, what's happening with that employee at any one point in time. Also, are they going to leave the company? So I can tell 6 months in advance if somebody's going to leave the company.
Wow.
Imagine. So if you got a high value employee before it's a problem, why do they leave? Because they don't get along with coworkers or they don't get along with their boss.
Wow. So obviously, I mean, you are talking about. I was going to ask you later on: does AI have a place in the future of hybrid work? And this is just a prime example of technology having a space. I mean, and any project or employee that's looking to reduce the way staffs live. I mean, that's a useful example. But apart from AI as an investor, what other technologies do you feel are investment worthy? And what technologies do you feel are coming out of this new trend, this shifting trend? Is there any new technology in healthcare or in workspace, cloud computing, or something?
Yeah, I mean, this thing is, so this whole hybrid environment is breeding a lot. So, again, Nathaniel, AI is a new electricity. Think about it. The amount of data that we have in front of us is 40 zettabytes. 40 zettabytes of data is enough. If you take CDs and stack them, or DVDs one on top of another, would go to the moon back and forth 29 times. That amount of data is growing at almost 70% per year. 70. Think about it. Your personal cloud, Nathaniel, yours, has about 300,000 items in your personal cloud. You've got Dropbox, Box, Google Drive, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Slack, all kinds of data sources. Could be up to 20 data sources. Now think about it. Now, how many times do you say, I know that file exists, but I can't find it? Why? I've either forgotten the location or the keywords. How many times? Like, and how many times?
Several,
Several.
several times. Yeah.
Yay, right? And so we are in a state of what I call infobesity. And that was a term coined by Alvin Toffler in the book Future Shock back in the 70s. And infobesity essentially is around us. So today you have 300,000 items. That number doubles every year. With the Internet of Things, you will have 10 million items in 5 years. How in the world? And how many times today somebody says, I sent you a message. Did you get it? And you're like, where did you send it? Well, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Telegram, WeChat. How in the world do you know? And I don't know about you, but, I check Messenger a lot. I do check LinkedIn. How many
Yeah.
times do you pick up your mobile phone, your cell phone every day? How many times do you think you pick it up and look at it?
I mean, for close to 4 hours a day, I checked because I have this app on my phone. I checked. I spend time on my mobile device close to 4 hours a day, and I'm sure it could be more.
Now, think about it. That's more time than you spend with a significant other talking to them, right?
You're right.
And
You're
so
very right.
is, we're becoming the singularity. The phone's becoming extensions of who we are. If you don't have your phone in your hand for a half an hour, what happens?
I feel edgy. I feel like I'm missing out on something. No,
Exactly.
I'm actually missing out. I'm missing out.
Exactly. And that's what happens. So, you talk about a hybrid work, these technologies where we can come closer, we need to understand data better. We're inundated with data. So, as a worker at your house, you got to be able to, what's going to evolve is we're going to have not a smart, but an intelligent assistant that'll be like a guardian angel that's going to keep cyber attacks away, that's going to help us understand the data around us. It's going to help us manage our lives because our brain can process 60,000 complex transactions per day. But when you start using things like quantum computers and data coming at us, most people don't realize. In fact, I'm writing a new article on quantum tunneling. But quantum computers can process information that would take a supercomputer, right? 10,000 years can process it in 200 seconds. 200 seconds, imagine. So we are going to be inundated. And as your personal cloud keeps increasing, there's going to be two classes of people: the people that understand data and the people that don't. And the people
Exactly.
don't are going to be, and it doesn't matter. It's like Bitcoin, right? I have friends in Bitcoin that have close to $50 billion in Bitcoin. And there are a lot of average people that had put a lot of money in, right? Early on, they invested to retirement money, etc. Now they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions. So where we are with data, it's going to be the same thing. Your data is critically important. The people that can manage the data and understand what's happening are going to live longer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're going to understand that we'll have a smart pill that goes inside of us. Imagine being a remote worker at home with a smart pill. It says, listen, there's a little problem. You're vitamin D deficient. I just ordered vitamin D from Amazon. It'll be delivered in 2 days. And I called your doctor up to get your check because your blood sugar level a little bit. So we're in this age where a lot of the systems that we have in place today are going to be a lot different. You're not going to need to go to the doctor the same way you did before. You could be a worker at your house, sitting down at your desk, and all of a sudden, it's course corrected. You're going to your guardian angel, and I say that from my standpoint, that this AI that's very intuitive, that is at the very highest level, that is intelligent, is going to be out there doing a lot of the things that you have to think about today and making it mundane. That's already happening, by the way. Think about
Yeah, yeah.
it.
I mean, Gary, I remember the last time we had similar conversation about Jarvis, no, Morpheus, about Morpheus and how he communicates with you and all that. And I'm I'm very, very excited about that opportunity. But let's come down to Africa and developing worlds where these data are not even there's no central body responsible for gathering this data. So what next? What next for and I'm sure that for me, working from home is just I'm one of the very few enjoying this opportunity. So what does this say for investors looking at the future of work in the developing or emerging market space? Will they focus on technology or rather just collecting data? And I mean, it's really tricky. You guys have it all figured out there. We've not even built a foundation over here. So what would you say for an investor looking at hybrid work or AI or data collection from this area?
Well, I was, just to parallel it, I went to Russia first time in 1992. I live in Russia 14 years. So Russia at the time it was at the collapse of the Soviet Union. There weren't a lot of systems in place. Really smart people, really nice people, but a lot of challenges. And so I saw with the evolution how fast it took place. You're going to be surprised. I mean, think about it. I had dinner with one of the wealthiest persons in Nigeria and California, and you are in the cusp. Africa is rising, and the question is, how fast does it do it? And I can tell you right now, I have 3 African startups within GSD, and I have one from South Africa and 2 from Nigeria today.
Yes.
So I can tell you that it's rising very, very quickly. I mean, most people don't realize that Nigeria is 206 million people. It's a large country.
Yes.
Second is Ethiopia, what about 100 million? So there's an incredible opportunity of some very. I remember before it used to be the Nigerians were the best scammers on the planet because they're really good business people, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And now those same people are turning into things like AI and how to build companies, which is really important. But the other thing is connecting to the rest of the world. The one thing Africa didn't do before is connect to the rest of the world. Just like you're doing right now, this is actually tying everything together. And that's really important. It's getting information because it's like steering a ship. If you're developing a technology or product, you need to be able to course correct. So in terms of hybrid work, you're going to be way ahead of everybody else because the models that you have in place are going to be new, right? The infrastructure will be new to be able to support those endeavors.
That's right.
I'm very, very bullish on what's happening all over Africa. And it's going to happen very, very quickly because you'll start to see the course corrections as we are now, right? It's going to be money will start flowing in. Companies, unicorns are being developed. Those unicorns will go global. They'll do IPOs. They'll do all kinds of interesting things, acquisitions. There'll be a lot of visibility. There's a lot of support. And, on here with VCTV is one more example. Here we are,
Exactly.
right? And
Exactly.
this
Sorry,
is
Gary, just before you go on, I just like to remind all our viewers right now watching us, if you have a question to ask, if you have a comment to make, you can post it on our LinkedIn page, on our YouTube page. I'll get to see it here and maybe ask a question and get it answered. And if you're a startup or entrepreneur looking to pitch a project to someone like Gary, get across to me, to the team. We'll get your pitch prepared and book a pitching session. I mean, it's an awesome time, like Gary said, to connect the whole world, and you should be taking advantage of it. So sorry, Gary. Sorry about that
I
interruption.
mean, the
Let's
thing
get
is,
back.
listen. I'm a country boy from Pennsylvania. I grew up on a farm. I grew in a village of 500 people on the side of a mountain. My neighbors were Amish, which are I don't know if you know Amish, but they had no
I do.
electricity.
Yeah,
No electricity. They're very humble people, but those are the kind of neighbors. In order for me to go play with my friend, I had to ride a bike 6 miles to go see my friend. So I grew up on the mountain. And what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter where you're from, it matters who you are, right? So
that's right.
each one of your audience today can really chart their own destiny. I did a TED talk a few years ago about the passion, optimism, and visualization. And part of being home and being successful is believing in yourself, Nathaniel. and believing that you can do it and keeping a positive frame of mind. You got to
That's right.
continually refocus. And I say, somebody said, well, what's it like? It's, you can't let the negative stuff get you down. Think about the positive in your life. When it's like stubbing your toe in the morning when you get up, if you hurt your toe, you know how other things start to happen. You lose your keys, your wallet's gone, you have a car accident, you're screaming at your girlfriend. I mean, it's like the whole day. It's like, why did one thing trigger everything? So you got to
That's right.
reframe your mind. You got to really reset. And being home and working out of the house is the same way because you know you got your wife, your friends, your parents around. You got to reframe it and turn things into a positive. Explore. And you know, part of being at home is, you know, in terms of hybrid work, is how can we keep us collaborate with other people? So part of is being a human is, you know, there was a book by Viktor Frankl called Man's Search for Meaning. Is how can we work together? How can we create this commonality? We like to be in a group, right? On one side,
Exactly.
we succeed, but we like to be in a group and have that group behavior. So adaption. So this hybrid, how do we collaborate better? There's going to be incredible technologies come out to help us collaborate better. There's going to be hyper personalization technologies that come out. For instance, we're going to have, you know, we're going to have our VR, AR, X
Yeah.
on where we're in a virtual office environment, right? So you're literally in that environment, sitting at a conference room with your colleagues, and you're looking at them, kind of like what was it, the Avengers? You know, it's going
Yeah. Everybody, remote location,
to
holograms, and all that.
exactly. And the thing is, we're not that far away from it. So those technologies are going to happen because we want to be close to one another. At the same time, this has afforded us a phenomenal opportunity, corporations, to understand that, you know, with all the challenges we have in the planet, with sustainability, with pollution, all kind of things, we understand that the Earth has had a chance to heal itself. Right, as I said, the Himalayas. This is the first time in 30 years you were able to see the Himalayas.
That's right.
And so we have had a chance to see we can have a positive impact. On the other side of it, being home, you know, we've got more tolerant with kids running around or dogs or cats or whatever. People are tolerant. Before it's like, oh, you know,
Grouchy, Grinch.
yeah, he or she is working at their house. All they're doing is playing. Now the situation is, it's kind of nice to see somebody bring their kid in or their dog or cat because it just shows the humanity of the person, right? We've become more human because we care about each other in an entirely different way because there's tragedy around us, right? And it's really helped us understand who we are. The other side of it, you know, I don't know about you, but you know, I get online, I order my stuff for Amazon or Walmart or whatever. I don't even have to go out and get, you know, I don't even go to the store like I did before. It was before I was like, you know, I'm going to go to the store. But now when I walk in because of COVID, I'm like, every time I go into that crowded store, I think about, I don't want to get COVID, right? So
That's right.
I'd
That's
rather
right.
take,
I mean, you particularly covered a topic I wanted to put forward to you is that for professionals and workers and adapting to this new reality, a lot would need to change about their perception, their lifestyle, their attitude to work, attitude to family around them. And you just basically covered that in a nutshell because there is going to be, going forward, there will be a lot of changes impacting lifestyle. You have to adjust your eating habits to remain healthy. You have to go out more, exercise more. And I'm looking at all these, the industries connected to all these changing habits. How will they be affected, and how will investments in those sectors, how will they be impacted? Will there be opportunities for online stores to increase their business or reduce their capacity, knowing how logistics play a vital role? What will we now have drone shipping to make delivery faster? What's going to happen in that light, and all these other things as an investor, can you just maybe give me 5 industries that you feel will be positively affected and will benefit from this future of hybrid? Just 5 industries.
well, I mean, it's already happened, right? So retail's been dramatically affected because the retailers, it's huge impacts on their business. Look at record levels for Amazon, Walmart. The people that accepted the digital transformation won. At the same time, look at the supply chain, right? And part of the challenge with the supply chain, we couldn't even get a roll of toilet paper. And here we are with quantum computers and you can't get a roll of toilet paper. What's wrong with that picture, right? So we didn't have, the whole idea of just-in-time inventory doesn't work when you need toilet paper. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of strange. And, I don't know about you, but here I saw toilet paper being sold, like 4 rolls of toilet paper for like $30, right, at the time.
Sweet Lord.
Well, because people were desperate, right? They got crazy. And then water. I bought like cases of Fiji water. I filled my garages up with water and toilet paper and all this stuff. But, so the supply chain, we need to have more insight into the supply chain. We need to go all the way from the product, the raw material, all the way to the retailer. And we need to understand what's happening. So that's something dramatic impact. Health tech, because we're home, because we can't go out. Health tech, the telemedicine, all those kind of things have shifted and moved into another direction. We've got a chance in terms of work. We do remote workforce management with Eva. So how to manage those workforces and keep them happy, how to understand. And, the thing is, like I said, it's, traditionally you do a review once a year. Why
Yeah.
was that? I mean, typically you get a health physical once a year, but your health changes. What happens if 3 weeks after you leave the doctor, something happens and it needs to be changed, but you only got to 1 year, right?
Exactly.
Until you go back, it's crazy. So what's going to happen is AI is going to give us insights on a real-time basis on everything. Right? We're going to be able to course correct on everything. Cars, if you look at autonomous cars, and what's going to happen in the future. We're not going to be driving. I've seen the next generation of autonomous cars. They're configure themselves. So let's say you're in Lagos and you order flowers. It goes out, picks up flowers, takes them over to your girlfriend, drops them off. Then the next situation is you need to pick passenger up at the airport. Driverless car reconfigures, lifts its seats up. It says in advance, it knows that you've ordered the car for 5 people. It lifts the seats up. It puts water out, right? So there's water bottles ready for the person coming in, cool water bottles. Goes to the airport, picks them up, reconfigures. It's time to go over, somebody, Sally and Bella want to go to school. It picks the kids up or home from school, picks them up, takes them over to the house, drops them off, right? And so there's going to be a lot more efficiencies in the system with driverless cars. The other thing is sustainability and battery technologies. All this, what's happening is it's one thing to produce the electricity. It's another thing to be able to store it and make it portable. So there are dramatic impacts on a battery, 30% a year increase in efficiencies. I know in electric bikes, there's a big boom in bikes right now, electric bikes around the world. So bike technologies, battery technologies. So it's everywhere. Then the other thing is cybersecurity, right? Because part of the
Oh,
challenge,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
right?
remember that.
We're online, but we got to make sure we're protected. So there's going to be new models of cybersecurity that you have not seen yet. In fact, we're an investor in one of those, which is a decentralized cybersecurity. So we're going to have to be quantum computer proof, because quantum computers, imagine if you can go after and understand something that would take 10,000 years in 200 seconds, you could crack a lot of encryption, right? So now the situation, we're going to have these new cybersecurity models because we're working at home, because we're doing digital currency, right? And you got your wallet
Exactly.
out there, you don't want your money stolen, right? And now it's a lot easier. It's not like you got to rob a bank, you just go in and steal somebody's wallet. So, and I don't, electronic wallet, digital wallet. So now we've got to have better cybersecurity systems, which we didn't have before. So, and they're going to be different because they're going to forecast where an attack will occur and patch it before it happens.
Wow.
So those are the new cyber.
There seems to be an interesting and increasing amount of industries that will benefit only if they just had the insights that you have. I mean, cybersecurity, I remember we talked about that some editions ago. Health tech, obviously, how it will impact emerging countries where the health situation is not even intact. But I mean, in developed countries, you guys have your thing together. Serious impact on improving the quality of lifestyle. And
It's going to happen, Nathaniel. You're going to happen. You understand? You're going down through. There's Africa's rising, right? Think about it. There's a little over 1 billion people in Africa, on the continent. It's rising, and the thing is, it's going to happen very quickly. So don't think about the negative. Think about how to be part of the positive. So imagine it doesn't matter where you are. You could get the quality of doctor anywhere, right? So,
true.
and then again with education. So we talk about education. You can be in Lagos and you can take courses at Harvard,
That's right.
or Oxford or Princeton. So it doesn't matter where you're located anymore, right? Or if you want, you can take Coursera courses. You want to learn Python, you want to program. There's all kinds of things. So the world's open up. There's a democratization of opportunities. The key is people taking advantage of them, right? And remember, Mother Teresa said, it's not about stop war, it's about pro peace. Think about how to look at it in a positive way. Your life, I can tell you directly, there's, if you see movies like The Secret, if you talk about the Pygmalion effect, the self-fulfilling prophecy, you become what you view you really are, right?
That's right.
Whatever that is. And your world starts to retransition so you become that person.
That's right.
So, and people say, oh, no, and I'm a psychologist too. So I'm telling you directly, right? So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You create your destiny. So with a startup, what are the difference between the successful startups and the unsuccessful startups? The people that, adapt to hybrid work and people don't. So it's really believing that you can do it. I remember I had dinner with the right-hand man of Rupert Murdoch, the Fox, and his name's Andrew Stuginski, and he said I had and his the guy at the dinner with me was a brother of the founder of Google, Carl Page, right? He's the brother of the founder of Google and one of the original investors. Anyhow, we were at dinner in Palo Alto, and Stuginski said he bought the Wall Street Journal for $4 billion, and he said I studied 3,000 entrepreneurs. And I'm sitting there. I had a couple of glasses of wine. I don't drink that much, but I was having fun. And I was a little loopy. But I said, what's one thing that each one of these entrepreneurs, including Rupert Murdoch, have in common? And he said, amnesia. And I said, what do you mean? He said, they never talk about the past because the past is an anchor that holds you back. So if you dwell in the past, you never go forward. That's the difference between a successful entrepreneur, a successful worker, and somebody not. They don't think about the past. They look about today, the present, and they look about to the future, and they chart their own destiny. And what happens
Awesome.
is really Per Wimmer, who's the founding astronaut on Virgin. He's a gazillionaire out of the UK. Was recently on my show. He has the world record for tandem parachuting over Mount Everest at 30,000 feet, where it's like 50 minus, right, Celsius. The guy's done all kinds of things. And he said to me, you create your own destiny. So if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, surround yourself with people that are successful, right? And work in that environment. But don't think about the negative stuff all the time. Think about the positives. And what happens is the world starts. So I can tell you directly, because I've gone through it many times myself, right? And
Awesome.
the world realigns for you. So this situation with work, there are people that are complaining, oh, I'm at home, etc. But if you start looking at the negative part of it, nothing good's going to happen. Think about the positive. How can you take advantage in a positive way of the situation? How can you make it better? How can you think positively about it? And then positive things happen.
Awesome. As in, I feel that this information speaks out to a lot of our viewers out there. you cannot benefit from dwelling on the negative stuff. I mean, we've gotten to a stage where the world is moving faster than you can think. And the more you dwell on the past, on the negative stuff, the further behind you remain. For investors, if you have a project that you just was installing on, never got around to pitching or something, I mean, just take that leap of faith. Come online, reach out to me, reach out to the LaToken team. We'll arrange a pitching session for you. I mean, in front of great men like Gary and all. And I think today we've come to the end of today's show. Very insightful, very informative. I hope for our audience out there, you can easily go back to our page on YouTube, LinkedIn, get to watch the videos over again, pick up those little points you might have missed. And I want to tell all entrepreneurs that there is a future in hybrid work. Like Gary has said, cybersecurity, health tech, retail, supply chain, there are several chances to make something out of all these industries. So go back home, get busy, get working, and I hope it was informative too. Gary, thanks again for time. I hope to have this discussion on another topic very soon.
We never
So
hope. Remember, Nathaniel, there's no such thing as hope. I told you that before. Believe in your dreams. We will do it. It'll move forward. Whenever you say hope, there's a chance that something negative can happen. It's
okay,
about believing in the dreams, right? We're going to do it. It's going to happen. So, and most of the time with startup entrepreneurs, and I've met thousands of them because I have an accelerator. Whenever they said hope, they didn't win. But when they believed in their dreams, they win.
awesome. Did you guys get that? No such thing like hope. Just
Believe
go out and believe
each
in.
one of you that are out there, go out and do it. Look yourself in the mirror. Right now, go out, look yourself in the mirror and say, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do it. I want to change my life. I want to make Africa incredible continent. Each one of you have the ability to be able to change your lives, to change your family's lives, to change the continent. Go out and do it. Let's make humanity better. Let's make life better. Let's live longer and let's be happy. We can all do it. But I'm telling you directly, I've done 17 companies and 2 unicorns. You have to believe in your dreams if you want to move forward.
Preach, preach. I hope you all heard that, and I hope you guys took it in. And that's, I mean, so powerful. I can't wait to have Gary again for another session. But till then, guys, thank you for watching. Stay tuned to our channel. Subscribe on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And we'll be back with you next time.